All right, so we're heading back out into my backyard because I have to test something that's been bothering me ever since I saw the video by Dutch Bushcraft Knives on the Adamas. Now, this is a knife that I had high hopes for, but the problem they showed would be an absolute game breaker. Basically, what happened is they tried to baton with it, which I've done with other Benchmades and had no issues. And immediately the lock disengaged. They tried it multiple times. They thought it was actually a flaw of, you know, just one particular knife. Turns out the full-size Adamas had the same problem. And this kind of surprises me. My question is, the Adamas that I have, which is in my pocket, this Mini Adamas, are we gonna have the same issues? I don't know. So today, I have my silky saw. We're gonna cut down some standing deadwood, and we're gonna do a little batoning just to see what happens. So, all right, we're not making this all this complicated. So there's some standing deadwood here. Looks like deadwood right at this edge. So all I'm gonna do is just cut a piece. I don't need much for this particular process, so we're just gonna get it done real quick. Now you notice the reason I got the Zubat, as far as being one-handed, it's an absolutely awesome saw. That was a little closer to my phone and microphone that I would have liked, but it's okay. All right, so let's chop this up into smaller pieces and then we'll go ahead and test this thing out. Okay, so we're back here at the table where I'm gonna try some of this batoning. The goal here is not to necessarily split the wood though. All I'm trying to do is test whether the lock will fail or not. Now I have my 940, which is without question my most valuable knife because it was something that was passed down to me. And yet I am not afraid to baton with this knife. I already have in the past, and it has absolutely no problem with this. The lock remains solid. So hopefully I won't be made a liar with that, but we'll see. And you notice these pieces of wood, they are dried out. We're gonna be cutting exactly the way the grain should split, so it shouldn't be too difficult for something like the Adamas, theoretically. So let's give it a shot. First with the Adamas, and then we'll go with something else. Just a piece of wood for batoning. So we have the 940, we have the Adamas, the Mini Adamas, and we have the Demco 20.5. So we're gonna test all of those and see which locks fail and which ones don't. Now with this Mini Adamas, I got this used, so even if it had a problem, I probably couldn't send it back in to get it fixed. But I know how to fix this problem if it ends up being one. So let's see if we can cause the failure first and then go from there. All right. The nice thing about this piece of wood is I can easily get the tip the whole way across. So I'm gonna be pretty violent with this. Oh, okay, maybe this piece wasn't very difficult. Let's try something a little bit better. And I'm gonna see if I can hit it right at the tip. Did that pop out? I can't tell if it did. Something weird just happened. Can't tell. Yeah, it's popping out. See that? Fuck. See that? It's popping out of the lock. Look at that. I kind of wanted them to be wrong about the Adamas, I'll be honest, because the steel, the thickness, the geometry is perfect. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. No issue here either. All right, let's go to the 20.5. Now I'm definitely not worried about this shark lock. But you know what? You know what's amazing? That popped out. That's not something I expected. I did not expect that. Let's watch that again. Yeah, it's popping out a little, they're all popping, well, except for the 940. Now, it's not that it's damaging the lock, but without any pressure, oh wait, you know what, the lock is bouncing. Interesting. Now what I saw was that when I was hitting the blade, I could see this shifting like that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Some surprises here for sure. All right, well, I mean, it's holding in there. When I was using the Adamas, it's not damaging the lock, but it's not, the rocker bar is not sitting far enough in on the lock for it not to pop out. Let's demonstrate that one more time. Looks like the 20.5 is okay, but the movement of the lock a little bit, now it doesn't seem to disengage. There's too much of a distance that it slid forward. But it is interesting that I'm seeing this lock shift during this test. Very interesting indeed. I think we're gonna have to do more of this type of testing. That's the picture right there, guys. Now this isn't causing any damage, by the way. All this batoning, you would think this would damage this knife, but it's built like a tank. The problem is that the lock pin does not go far enough in. And that is making it so that it is very easy for the lock to disengage. When you have a knife that's supposed to be this tough, you would not expect that to happen. Now, I understand this is considered, you know, extreme, but go over to Dutch Bushcraft Knives. They take a bug out, okay, which has plastic handles, and they baton through some pretty ridiculous wood with an S30V blade. Now, this is crew wear. It's significantly thicker. It has better geometry for this task. It has full steel liners. On every level, this should easily take the abuse. The problem is that the lock bar does not slide far enough forward. Now, from what I can see, there's about a millimeter-ish of space that could be used that's not being used. So maybe in another video we can fix that problem. But as of right now, if you're expecting this to be a folding fixed blade, no, can't say I would agree. I would much rather have the 20.5 right now, when I know that I can rely on the lock to actually do the work. Now, is this extreme? Yeah, it's extreme. That's the way it should be with locks like this, like the shark lock. I should be able to do that task. Just my opinion, take it or leave it. But if you have what is basically less durable or less, what do you call it? Less heavy duty knives able to do this task, that's a problem in your lineup. You gotta fix this problem with the Adamas, guys.